Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Eddie Marcus one more time. I'm here in my hometown, Itta Bena, Mississippi. There's a community where most of the people from Mississippi that lives here in Itta Bena usually find themselves congregating at. And that's right here, ladies and gentlemen, on the ground for which I stand. It's called Pitts Memorial Garden. Yes, it's a cemetery. I think it's very appropriate that I take advantage of this moment. This is a very special moment. In fact, less than an hour ago, I heard a dying man pray. And what was this man praying for? He was praying for us all, even praying that the virus would leave in Jesus' name. I find this moment befitting because there's a movie being made called Rebuilding Paradise. I believe, what's his name, Opie? Ron Howard is responsible for this manifestation. And it reflects a city in California called Paradise. And you can imagine, if you will, being called Paradise, most of the people there were probably wealthy. Probably had a lot of money. Yeah. Probably gated. But something happened that it didn't matter how many millions or trillions you owned. If you lived in paradise, something happened that they could not control. Like the earth being built. Something dynamic happened. This wonderful, beautiful paradise created out of the imagination of some genius. Not for the benefit of all, but the benefit of a few, for only a few were the ones who were recipient of. And that fire didn't discriminate. It went through this street, down this street, down this alley, across this mansion, and then this mansion, and another. This limousine, this Royce, all consumed fire. And the paradise was no more. But someone felt that and feels that paradise should be reestablished. And that beauty that was live again. But is there something more magnificent than that? If that is magnificent at all, isn't there something that's more magnificent than that? If paradise is good for some, wonder how much more wonderful it will be for them all. For indeed, there comes a time when all of us congregate in a place where it does not discriminate, called the graveyard. So I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, we're living at a time when there's no question about where we're living. Yes, we have been trained, we have been indoctrinated to ignore the facts and accept anything other than the truth. But the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have a little understanding of a power that's more powerful than any man or any woman or any human being or alien, if you can imagine that, then do it. For indeed it does exist. And I come to tell you today that you have the opportunity, had the opportunity, and can reclaim the opportunity to live again. It's been given to you and you gave it away, now you got to retake it. And how do you do that? Well, let's first of all recognize the truth. In the United States of America, which has held itself up as being dynamic, something for the world to see, for all the dictatorships to see, for all of the communist countries and and others, even some socialists, to see and be judged by the actions of the American people using democracy as their champion. And then, my friends, we got a chance to really see, because something magical happened. While we were lying to ourselves, deceiving one another that we were all of that, others knew that we weren't, but we were telling ourselves we were all of that. And because we empower ourselves through ourselves, we accepted the lie. But on this great moment, oh, it's a beautiful moment. I bet you didn't know that. May 25th, God, my friends, that power that you cannot see, chose George Floyd, a young man, really an average Joe Blow, that God sanctified that man, so that you and all of us could see what it really means to be free, that you are not free because the systems of the world represented by, well, let's say the white people. It's true, is it not? And their ability to force its will on others by having the cups to do it, legalized force. And what is he doing? He's choking the life out of some of the people that is represented there through George Floyd. People of color, black people, not just here in America, but people all over the world. For when they heard about it, they all stood up and said, we're part of that pain. We're part of that suffering. America, you think you're so great. Help us. Do something about it. Set the example. Show us, mold us, so we can see how to move forward. They are crying out to America. They don't know that America has sunk so far away from the truth, so far away from God, until when people are crying and hollering and crying out saying, we need some help, they want to build walls, even talk about building moats, putting in alligators and snakes, talking about blessing those who take our side and support our lives. Anybody that tells the truth, they have nothing to do. Oh, they didn't know that America had changed. America had sunk so low that we seem to be lost and have nowhere to go. We don't recognize, my friend, that one that we have held up so great, Dr. Martin Luther King, another that's been sanctified, was murdered for representing truth. And today they have sitting in the White House a genuine devil, supported by a third of the nation. While they were able to kill Dr. King, while they were able to kill others, this one they could even impeach. Ain't that something? But ladies and gentlemen, there's a power. I tell you, I don't know whether you know it or not, but I stand here, evidence that I know it. And why am I standing here? Because that power puts me here for a purpose. What is that purpose? To remind you that the paradise, the freedom that you had, you gave it up under death. If you want it back, you got to do it under death. Satan is not going to change his way. You see where Trump and the Republicans are being led down a path to hell by the devil, by Satan. And the Democrats only telling you that it's not going there. They are using that because they're not moving as fast as Trump. But if pain and suffering exist in the community, in the population, that is because it is not directed by the spirit of love. It is not directed by the spirit of God. And so I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, think about it. For one day we all end up here. But what happens before you get here? Let's think about what would paradise that they are trying to rebuild in California. What would the earth, not just America, but the earth look like? when everybody had a career of their own choosing that gave them their greatest joy for being on earth. In fact, they are living here on earth, thanking God every day that they're here because they got a gift, and that gift allows them to engage themselves in the process of creating something that all of the people might at one time or another desire. And when you put it together, you find that none are ever without food, clothing, and shelter. None are ever without education. None are ever without health care, the best that you can ever imagine. And all of the others are just ice cream on the top of some cake. My. That's what that Spirit wants you to know. See what you got. And remember what you can get. Now, we know that you don't know the truth. You don't know who God is, thus you don't know who you are. You are a creation. You are a child. You're an expression. You're an extension of God. You got all the powers you've always had. You don't know that because you've been deceived. And we all been deceived. None of us have escaped that. It is by the grace of God that grabs some of us and sanctify like they did George Floyd, like they did Dr. King, like they did so many others. Sanctify them that they might live amongst us in the middle of the hell that we live in. We are not supposed to be trying to find comfort. We are trying to expose and reveal the way. Expose the devil and reveal the path to life. That's our destiny. Sure, you need a house. Sure, you need food. Sure, you need clothing. All of these things you need, there is no doubt. But there's a divine way to meet all of these things. It does not rest on the premise of lies and cheating and stealing and killing and terror and war. And now, my friends, I do this out here at this graveyard today as a testament that it is time that evils of the world changes. It is time that we start treating people decent. It is time we stand up for what is right, and if we have to give our life, then give it, because we will not be made a slave. I'm telling you, we're going to all end up out here one day. I don't care who you are, what color you are, how much money you got or don't have. We're going to all end up out here one day. And just like that coronavirus does not discriminate, just like the fires of California did not discriminate, love, my friends, requires that you do the things that would promote love. So I'm out here to take all of the sins that we have committed against one another and today bury it out here in this graveyard and go forward from henceforth and forevermore to stand for paradise for all of us, that we may live like we're children of the King. I heard a judge just the other day in her proceedings with a young man and his significant other. They were talking about kings and queens. That was that ambition in life, to be on top. And the judge asked them, why do you want to ride on the necks and the strings, and I'm just paraphrasing, of kings and queens? They only exist and experience the things that they do because of those who came before them, who robbed and cheated and pillaged the goods and others, goods that belong to others. And they, my friends, what you call yourselves, privileged. Anybody who calls themselves privileged, anyone who can just do what they want in this country because they got all of that stuff and so connected to that kind of stuff, and you can't do nothing. Woo! So, ladies and gentlemen, paradise in America means that there won't be no billionaires, there won't be no millionaires, there won't be no thousandaires. But there will be those who have dominion over everything. They suffer for nothing. Their life is nothing but fulfillment and joy. And this, my friends, is why this is a very special moment. To end it right here in this graveyard in my hometown, where I grew up at, playing up and down the railroad track. Yeah, this is my hometown. I was once a kid, and when I grew up, I couldn't wait to get away from here. Now I come back out of, what, 60 more years? At least 50. And I find out that the town missed us. It missed me. It missed all of us. And we are responsible. Oh, I was keeping some notes here. I'll make sure I didn't forget anything. Okay. Kings and Queens, Paradise Lost. Okay. So I want to get ready to end this up here now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm walking out here and I've been feeling motivated. And so I'm going to say to you right now, I'm going to let you go. And I want you to know that paradise can exist here, but you don't know it. And those who you look for leadership don't know it. Your preachers, they are very good people, but they don't know it. Your legislators are very good people, but they don't know it. And so you don't know it. But there's one thing that's coming amongst all of you. You all want it. And I'm going to tell you, it is true. You can get it. I got to talk to you later, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye.